What's up guys, another week in the life. So this week we've got a particularly busy week, so I thought it'd be a pretty good one to go with. Now I have been keeping up a little bit with these weeks in the life, but I've been doing them for members only. So if you like this sort of video, maybe consider becoming a member. You probably see a fair bit more behind the scenes stuff, but I figured it's time to make a week in the life for release to the public. So that's what we're doing this week. So it's 7 o'clock Monday morning at the moment. Big bad uterus, first things first, clean out the trailer. Did a dump run yesterday afternoon. Bit of Sunday domestic stuff. Yuck. Much better. See Big Falks blew out a tyre the other day. Gonna have to get that fixed tomorrow. There's the big bad VF out. I keep accidentally calling this thing a Maloo because it's just so nice. To me it just looks like a freaking Maloo. I keep calling it a Maloo. This poor old thing was pretty much meant to be finished at this point, but still waiting on the converter and our trans cooler and oil cooler, which was, yeah, it's a lot of this COVID stuff's really starting to trickle down into affecting how quick we can get stuff. So anyway, get the engine out of this hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow morning, get it underway. But yeah, it's pushed it back a little bit, which is a bit of a pain. Righto, so get on to getting this full exhaust in the big bad VE Wags. Next job for today. Ooh, look at that. Nice. The old VE sounding like a real V8. And it's pissing down. Had a little bit of hail before. Lucky we had everything inside. Bloody hell. Still bloody raining, but got the VE on the dyno ready to get a post-exhaust run. Did some shuffling around, so once it's done, we'll get the Challenger on there. We really hate dynoing in this weather because the power here is so touchy, it's so on and off. So often when it's raining like this, the power will go out, and we haven't had it yet, but we're not looking forward to the day that we're halfway through a power run on the dyno and the power goes out and, you know, loses power to the retarder. That's probably not going to be a very fun time. So we're trying to avoid it as much as we can, but unfortunately this week is just we can't afford the downtime this week. We've got too much to do. Even as it is, both of these took longer than I expected. You know, it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're both sort of done now. This still needs a tune, but yeah, I was expecting to hopefully have the exhaust all finished up on the VE and have it sorted before lunch, and was hoping this would be sorted before lunch and we could spend the afternoon getting these sorted and get on to the next things we have to do today. But it just never goes the way you want. Alright, had some interesting results out of the VE, but you'll see that in that content. It's probably already out if you're watching this, so go watch it. But onto the Dodge now. Get this new carby tune. Quick change of the power valve. The rest of it's looking pretty good so far for our out of the box carb. Way better than the shitty demon that was on it already. Alrighty guys, Tuesday morning, a bit later up this morning, wasn't as early as yesterday. Forgot to film yesterday afternoon, but we worked on that Challenger. I stayed until about 6:45, and then I came home and sort of helped with the young fella in the dinner routine and stuff. And Rex got home about 6:15, so that was yesterday, but got the Challenger done. So it's gone now. So yeah, go back on today and keep on keeping on. Bit of fog this morning. Very foggy. All right, so today we've got to start having a bit of a look at this thing. A bit of an interesting story with this one. Been at a few different shops who couldn't really figure out some connectivity issues with HP tuners. It's a LS swapped. Originally was a V6, so just a burnout car. So should be pretty simple to pull all the other modules out of the OBD and try and figure out what the hell's going on. So try and get it sorted, but we can't tune it until we get some fuel filters, which we've ordered because someone built a fuel system and didn't put any filters in it, and the foam in the cell is breaking down and clogging up the pump, keeps killing pumps. So anyway, just have a bit of a poke around that, see if we can figure out the connectivity issues today, but we're not going to be tuning that today. So another pretty big job for today is to get this stuff cleared out a little bit. We need the engine room at the moment. We need some more room in here, so gonna try and get this LS1 together today. It's meant to be getting picked up on Friday. It's pretty much all cleaned up, ready to go. The heads are machined, ready to go. It's basically at this point, it's just assembly and blueprinting. So I'm hoping we can pretty much have this together this morning. I'm probably going to start on the heads while Rex gets going on the bottom end. And then once I've got the heads together, I'll get started on another car we've got to get started on. But today I'll also try and Ken's 1J, Marth Garage's 1J. I'm going to wrap that up, like actually wrap it up and get it out of the engine room just because we need the room quite badly. This RB25, which is going in the 33 outside, I'll try and get it back together. That's the head for it there. I don't know if I'll get to that today, but that does need to happen today or tomorrow. Joshy's 4H can stay in here. I'll just push that in the corner. But sort of once that's together, it can get wrapped up and go out. So once those two are wrapped up and out, and this one's finished and out, we'll have quite a bit of room in here. So we need that engine room. I've got another J that's got to go in there probably this afternoon or tomorrow. I've got to pull out today. That's the car I'll be working on after I get them heads sorted. And then the next thing, hopefully tomorrow morning, we'll get the engine out of this thing. So we need the engine room for the engine out of this after that. And then I'm hoping either tomorrow or sometime over the next few days, I've got a Barra coming that we need the engine room for as well. So as you can see, we've got 3 engines here that we need engine room space for, and we won't fit them in there with 4 engines already in there. So we've got to make some room. Although it was pretty good yesterday, our FG sump for this Barra has finally arrived. And we've been waiting for this to keep going on the Barra Beamer. So it's been a fair while. I've had a fair few people keeping an eye on me for FG sumps. That one ended up coming from New South Wales down around Orange area. But it means we can finally continue on the Beamer, which has been a long time coming. This customer's been very patient. Cheers, Benny. Our apologies, but yeah, we've just been absolutely freaking so gosh dang busy. And we really got to get this thing sorted at some point. Having lots of really strange issues with this thing. Really, really weird. For those who haven't already seen this thing, it's a 2J GTE VVTi swap 240Z. I'll give you a quick look because I did put it in a little video, like a little segment in a video. But anyway, having weird fuel, like injector issues, develops a miss, and we'll track the miss down to an injector, and then we pulled the injectors that were in and out of it and sent them to our boy Jay at Brisbane Fuel Injection Services. He tested and flowed the set and couldn't find anything wrong with them. And in the meantime, we actually bought a brand new set because the customer wanted a second set anyway for another car that he's building. And we put them in it, brand new set of the same injectors, and we had the same issue. Developed a miss, took it down to an injector. You can unplug any other injector in the rail, and the AFRs will drop like 2 AFR points, and then you'll have one injector that you'll unplug and it'll drop like half an AFR point. And you can move that injector to any cylinder and it has the same issue. Does the same thing, but obviously it's not an issue with the injectors and it's flipping doing our heads in. Anyway, hopefully we'll get some time to get to that sometime soon. Another day, probably Thursday at this point, I actually have to do a trip down to the sunny coast and then down to Beenleigh. So we've got a build coming up. That's what the Barra's coming here for. So it's a Barra build. And we're getting a 9-inch built, and I had to get the customer to send me all his brakes and coilovers and stuff for the car so that I can get our 9-inch fabricated. So I've got to go down to Caloundra to get all the bits from the guy who got all the bits for us that's doing our center. I've got to take all of this stuff and the bits down to the bloke at Beenleigh who's going to be fabricating the actual diff for us so that he can get that underway, because that car's meant to be here this weekend. So car comes here this weekend. We've got 2.5 weeks basically to do a complete conversion. But then it's going to fab at someone else, and then it's going to Sam at Whitey's for wiring. So it's not a huge amount of work that we have to do, but it's still quite a bit when you're sort of trying to coordinate everything and get everything together. So all right, so we pretty much got to the bottom of this thing. It took a little bit, but we got there, and so it's pretty much ready for the dyno as soon as we get our filters here and sort out the fuel system a bit more. We don't want to run it any more at the moment than we absolutely have to, because it keeps sucking foam out of that cell that's breaking down and killing the pump. So we need to wait until we have our filters before we keep running it. So that'll do that for now. Also spent a fair bit of time this morning chasing up parts for Josh's 4H that we need. We need new wire locks and rings for these second-hand pistons. So I have to chase them up. Unfortunately, the ring pack's a bit of a weird size, so I'm gonna have to look at trying to get a set out of the States somewhere. It's annoying stuff like this happens though. You have all these grand plans for how the day is gonna go, and then you do 2 little things like that, and there goes hours. Time just gets eaten up, it's crazy. Definitely need more people in here. Couple of turbos this week. So just chasing up the coolers from PWR that we ordered for the VF over here, which we ordered 3-4 weeks ago now. We were told they were going to be ready on Monday the 11th. We kept calling and asking them. They were like, oh, they're held up at the powder coaters. They reckon that the powder coating was being held up. Still haven't heard. They were meant to be ready last Monday the 11th. Today's the 19th. And that's when this car arrived, was last Monday the 11th. That's why. Anyway, been through all this stuff, chasing them up. No one got back to us all week. We called up now to talk to someone, only for them to say that the note on the order says that they only went to powder coating on Wednesday and that they're due to come back tomorrow, the 20th. So basically just getting lied to by PWR, and this is not the first problem we've had either. I don't mind things being late when they're held up. It's out of people's control, that's fine, but just getting lied to, that's pretty average. All right, so I got the heads together for this LS1, so now just gonna do a bit of rearranging in here and try and get this J out of here. All right, temporary home for the 1J for now. While we get some more of this stuff done. Looking a bit better in here. Trunnion upgrade on this thing as well. Some CHE trunnions, best in the biz. All right, so I'll start cleaning up this RB head, ready to try and start getting this thing back together again. All right, so that head's cleaned up, but I'm gonna leave the RB for now because it's gonna get pretty late pretty quick soon. It's already getting pretty on in the afternoon, and this is something that I can do, you know, after hours at night time if I have to. So I'm gonna move on to the other stuff that I wanted to get done today. All right, so rest of the day for me is gonna be getting this out of here. This is the old Tux Cressida, but you'll see more of this in another video. This thing is so nice. I think it's probably going to be my new favourite car we've had through here, this thing. Old boy went and got tyres on the big yellow, or big purple, sorry, today. So new tyres on the old girl, ready for a big drive later on the week. Also, I got him to grab some other stuff from King Roy while he was in town. Helping us out by doing a bit of running around. Anywho, it's 5:30. It's actually 5:45 now, so pack up, head home. So while I got a bit done on that, Rex actually got the rings gapped and everything for the LS1 in the engine room. So it's sort of starting to get ready to go together tomorrow. And this thing was meant to be well underway by now. Pretty much just been putting it off because we knew we couldn't finish it without A, the converter, and B, the coolers, which we're waiting on from PWR, which obviously, as you saw, we're getting screwed around with, doing our freaking heads in. So beef muscle man for dinner. Hey buddy, muscle man. Wednesday morning. So you probably will have noticed by now, but obviously I no longer live like an hour and 40-minute drive from the workshop. I now live literally three to 5 minutes down the road, 3 to 5 minute drive, depending on how spirited you want to drive. Moved there like January, and I don't think I've released one of these publicly like this year. So, but yeah, I only live literally down the road from the workshop now, which is good because you get more work done. Anyway, 3 days into the week, already 3 days behind. Alrighty, so the boys at Performance Wholesale managed to find us some rings for Joshy's 4Age, which is awesome. So they're on the way, which is wicked. So nearly about to get this engine out of this Cressida, but in the meantime I do just have to run into town and post off some parts. These things sell like hotcakes, they go flying out the door, so I'm nearly out of stock of them again. Rex is smacking along with his LS. Alright, first pick up some more packages. Got another turbo from Pulsar. Bit of good news, the VE, the tyres that we ordered for the VE are actually in, which is good because we weren't expecting them until next week. So VE's booked in tomorrow morning to go get the tyres done, and that way the customer can pick it up on the weekend, which is A1, that's awesome. Righto, finally got the big girl out. Got all of the lines bunged up and plugged off and did just a bit of a clean up. Pretty much this thing can go back outside under the cover for now. Until later on, another date, maybe next week I can get a chance to start hoeing into this thing. Alrighty, so just moved the Cressy outside and had to get going. Wednesday's the missus tutors, one of the local kids, Wednesday afternoon, so I finish earlier Wednesday afternoons, head home and just hang out with the young fella while she does that, which is freaking awesome. So Rex is still just ticking along in the LS, in the engine room. Unfortunately still didn't get to the VF today, but that'll be tomorrow morning's job first thing. I had planned this week tomorrow to go do some running around that I have to do this week, but because those tyres are going to be here for the VE now, I won't go. So in the morning we'll try and get that engine out of the VF before I go get the tyres put on the VE. So just thinking about how this video is going to come out, it's probably going to make it look like it takes a really long time for me to do anything, but what probably doesn't get translated through videos like this anymore, or at all, is just the amount of time spent on the phone, on the computer, doing emails, that sort of thing. It's not like at this point, with how far the business is come and going, it's not like I can just be on the tools all day without actually emailing and organizing stuff and taking phone calls and things like that. So there's a lot of sort of crap that I have to do in between everything else, which obviously doesn't get filmed because I'm usually on the phone. So I really am at a point where I sort of need another set of hands in the workshop. We really do. Rex and I both really need sort of another set of hands because my arm as well is getting really, really bad. For those of you who don't know, I sort of live and deal with a horribly broken right elbow. It's been an ongoing thing since I was about 19 years old. It's broken, it's a mess. Nothing they can really do for me except for give me an artificial elbow at this point, which I straight up can't afford the time off to rehabilitate, so that's not going to happen in a hurry. So being on the tools is very painful for me most of the time. So not only would an extra pair of hands just help with a lot of those things that I really have a lot of trouble with as far as physically being capable of doing, but also just allowing me to actually, I suppose, spend a lot more time organizing and getting stuff done. As you can see from this video, probably time for editing and getting videos out and stuff is getting very, very scarce the longer we go on as just me and Rex. The more things progress with the businesses and the further they get while it's just me and Rex, the more scarce spare time gets to do editing and stuff. So, you know, an extra pair of hands in the workshop to just do essentially my job on the tools, what I do on the tools, while I could just do what I've got to do off the tools, would help a great deal. But obviously the problem is we're fairly far out from anywhere. I can't offer anyone enough job security to sort of move out here or relocate, and I don't know anyone local that I sort of trust enough or want to work for us. So it's a pretty hard position at the moment, but just got to keep on grinding and hopefully something works out very soon. Realistically, I have to get the dyno out of the shed before all that can happen, really. It presents a bit of a safety issue. It also just is annoying to try and work in the shed while a car's getting tuned. It's loud. I don't like doing it, so I couldn't expect someone else to do it. So that's sort of the next goal to work towards, is to try and get the dyno cell built ASAP and get the dyno out of there. So hopefully by Christmas. Fingers crossed. So I'd really like to use this sort of time to edit a video, but obviously Flynn's getting older now, he's pretty full on. So it's always stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Like I'm always in and out of it. So it makes it really hard to edit when you can't sort of just get in your zone and do it, work through it. So sort of just, it's like my one time of the week where I can sort of just hang out and chill. Hey buddy. Yeah, we just chill, we chill out. Did get some good news though, is that PWR, our coolers are actually on the way. They got sent out today, so at least they're on the way. So either tomorrow or probably Friday, when I go do all this running around, I'll go get our converter, which should be ready. I have to call our converter guy, and that way we'll have everything there to finish the VF, so we can get stuck in and get that sorted. Frustrating, because the next big project that's getting dropped off this weekend is another sort of really high end and big dollar, I suppose, build, you'd say. It's a big dollar car, and I really was hoping to not have the VF and this car there at the same time. The VF was meant to be finished this week and gone, so that I didn't have both cars there at the same time. So it really sucks. I'm going to end up with both of them there at the same time. But anyway, what do you do? It is what it is. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Let's go Thursday. So Rex is smacking along with this LS, getting it together. It's sort of somewhat top priority at the moment because it's meant to be getting picked up tomorrow afternoon. So at this stage, all good though. Well on track. Get them heads on. So you can sort of see our engine room's really good, but by the time you get two of us in here working butt and elbows, it does get pretty cramped pretty quickly. So that's why I usually, you know, if Rex is in here doing an engine like this, that's why I haven't got the head and stuff on that RB at this point. I'll get that on when Rex has finished this LS and gets it out of here. Anyway, another thing we're gonna have to sort today is the VY. We're gonna have to clean out the fuel cell. Hopefully our filters arrive from Rocket today, so that it can be ready for the dyno sort of this afternoon or tomorrow, whichever. And at this point, it sort of doesn't make much difference whether the engine comes out of this today or tomorrow. So we'll sort of focus on making sure that's ready to go, and that's ready to go first, because this car's meant to be getting picked up on the weekend as well. Whereas the majority of the work that's going to happen to this thing's going to happen next week anyway. So that's how today's going to roll, as well as getting tyres on the VE, obviously, and chasing up. I'm meant to be picking up an engine for an upcoming project. So I'm going to chase up the bloke, make sure, see if he's got that out of the car yet, and hopefully go get that this afternoon too, before I have to go to Brisbane tomorrow, because obviously I won't be able to get it tomorrow, and I really want it this week. So I'm also really hoping that the new plug leads come for the VE today as well, so that I can sort them out before it goes on the weekend too. Make sure that's completely sorted. Not enough hours in the day. So when this thing arrived, it actually had shut a pump. It actually sucked, there's a heap of foam in the cell, and it sucked a heap of foam into the pump because there's no filter, and it shut the pump. So we sort of thought, he bought the cell second hand, so we thought maybe the foam was sort of breaking down and disintegrating and getting all gross. But we just emptied the cell that was full through this gauze funnel into these drums, and then we ran another drum through the cell back into another drum just to sort of filter it through again, and literally nothing came out. And you can stick your hand in there and the foam feels pretty good. So we've decided we're probably actually just going to leave the foam. I reckon it might have just been a bit like an unfortunate bit that was floating around that the pump sucked up. But I reckon once we got our filter in this line, that foam feels pretty good. And for a burnout car with no surge tank, it's probably not a bad idea to have the foam in there. So we've decided we're going to leave the foam in. But anyway, obviously the experiment had to be done. So we'll leave that fuel out because it's going to make it easier for us to put our filters in. Hopefully they're here today. I'll try finish editing this video before I have to go get these tires fitted. It just didn't work yesterday afternoon. Flynn was being way too full on. I just couldn't get any of it done. All right, we're uploading. So leave that to upload while I go get these tires sorted. I'll take my little earpiece so I can make some phone calls and try and coordinate my day for tomorrow. So Rex is just agreeing this cam in. Obviously you guys know we sort of have a lot of cams that we particularly like to use, most of them from Crow. A lot of our favorite off-the-shelf grinds come from Crow. This customer supplied a lot of the stuff with this engine to put it together. One of them was a VCM cam that VCM recommended him. So we're agreeing that in because we don't often work with VCM cams, and just trying to figure it out because it's looking pretty wacky. Feel so spoiled getting to drive this sort of thing around. So nice. I'm a really big fan of these VEs and the VFs, especially the VFs. I would really like to buy one day. For those of you that have been around the channel for a while or watching for a while, you've probably noticed that I sort of don't really have a car of my own really anymore. Sacrifices you make, I suppose, starting a business and that. I think I first started this channel, I had my nav, like an NP300 brand new nav. Sold that, and yeah, really just drove shit boxes, and at the moment don't even have a car because I live so close to the workshop now. It's sort of not particularly necessary for me to have one. The closest thing I've got to like a registerable or registered car is the dirty old VS, which, as you have seen, I don't even have time to finish because of things like that customer's R33 in the back there. You know, that's sort of the spare time project at the moment. I'm doing that, trying to do that cheap for him to keep costs down. It's been here for a long time. So that sort of comes before any of my own cars, which means that even things like the VS doesn't really get done. Anyway, I'm babbling, but one day we'll have this sorted out. I'll have the dyno in a cell. We'll have an extra pair of hands around the workshop, and more will get done, and there'll be more spare time. I'll actually get to have weekends off to spend with my family, and I might actually get some time to finish some of my own turd boxes. Big girl's got some fresh treads ready to go home as soon as I do these plug leads, which did arrive while I was there doing the tires. So happy days. So Rex had to advance this cam 2 degrees to get it to match up with the cam card. But that's all right, it's close enough. It'll be right from here. So this is, I don't know if I explained it, but this is actually an LS we're putting together for the guy who actually won the turbo giveaway, which was really convenient for him because he needed a turbo for this engine. So it's going into a patrol. We decided to get the SXE S366 because it was a better size than any of the GDX series, and he just paid the difference. So worked out good. Oh, she's ready for boost. Oh, a bit of lunch break. New leads on the VE, so quick gurney down and a vacuum out of the driver's side floor, and it's ready to go back home. I might actually just get a torque wrench and check the wheel nuts. Righto, wheel nuts are torqued up. I have mostly coordinated my day tomorrow for the most part. I just need to get on to one more bloke that I have to go see to confirm with him. But tomorrow is pretty well set. It's going to be a big old day and done heaps of invoicing sort of to suit for the rest of the week. Cars that are meant to be going out this week. So still fingers crossed that this order that we need for all the filters for this wagon show up today so that it's ready to go to the dyno tomorrow. That's the other thing, is the Barra that I was hoping to pick up this afternoon is not ready to go, but he's saying that it will definitely be ready on the weekend, which is okay because I'm going to get that same bloke to shave the heads from this thing. So it gives me a chance to get this engine out, get the heads off it. And this weekend I can take him the heads and pick up the Barra and get him to shave them heads 10th hour. And we'll be happy days and on track with that thing. Checking a couple of chambers. LS is coming together. I've decided just to sort of help Rex smash this all together, just to get it done and out of the way. It's friggin' hot today as well, so it's nice in here. Nice in here, the aircon. All right, big bad LS is together, ready for some boost. A few things that we will probably change and sort out when it comes back here for a tune, which it's meant to be. The push rods, we only had 7.4s in stock. This thing really should use, or could do with some 7.3 to 7.5s. And obviously needs injectors. Still only got the 1 bar map sensor, which is going to have to get changed. and we'll probably put 2-10 fittings in the breathers when it comes back for a catch can setup. Also change the thermostat out for a 70-degree one because they run a lot nicer in patrol and four-wheel drives, especially when boosted, when they've got a 70-degree thermostat. Anyway, all stuff that we've noted to change when it comes back. Only 2 weeks late, but we're here. Lapping it up in luxury in the Stato. So, as these guys probably know from watching the channel a little while ago, I was meant to pretty much inherit the XR6 Turbo for a bit of a daily. And that was all well and good, but that was sort of riding on the fact that we would get the yellow tonner done for Rex to daily, which it's sort of just, it's got like, if you watch the latest episode of that, I'll sort of explain how that sort of just ended up taking a lot longer than we expected, and we don't really have the time to just funnel into it. And it's just going to take its time, pretty much. It's going to take a sweet ass time. So because of that, Rex pretty much took the XR6 Turbo back. Pretty much Indian gave the whole deal so that he had another car to get around in. So from that, I've pretty much inherited the old boys Statesman. It's a like VT era. I think they're a WH, I think. So I've been driving that around a fair bit. As well as his ute when I need the ute, but I actually don't mind this thing. The more I drive it, the more I enjoy it. Half tempted to just whack a cam in a big stall and stuff in it. Got a few things there in the back room, but I don't know. Probably shouldn't. Anyway, for the running around that I have to do tomorrow and the stuff that I have to collect and drop off and stuff, this Statesman is much better suited than the ute. Anyway, it's 6 o'clock, pulling in at home now. So another 12-hour day, pretty much every day. It's 12 or 11, like 11 or 12 hours. We're sort of really at a point where physically we can't really do much more work. You know, for a little while there we were doing night shift. A lot of you might remember that. We were working through the night a lot of the time, or working very late into the night. And I sort of just found it to be pretty much backwards as far as productivity goes. You think you can get a lot more done, but realistically you just end up way more tired all the time and productivity just goes down. So we sort of can doing that and get out of that. Originally we were doing it just to work on our own stuff late at night, but it sort of turned into just getting stuff done late at night, which turned into working on customer stuff late at night as well. So it was just always working all the time. So we stopped doing that. Friday morning. Yeehaw. So I was really hoping to sort of get up and sneak away before 6, but young Flynn woke up most upset before I did. So only getting away at 6:30 and I got a big day. So at least in the car I can just listen to me bloody podcast, Gypsy Tales, and cruise around. Alrighty, so just got done at the first stop for the day, which is Top Cog in Caloundra. Dude is an absolute legend. So he's sorting out, well actually he has sorted out, already busted ass to get it done for me today. So huge thank you to Duncan there at Top Cog. So he's sorting out a 9-inch for an upcoming build. He sorted out pretty much all of the parts for us, like the housing. He sorted out the center, he got the axle sorted, studs, everything, all of the bracketry. So now I'm just on the way to the next stop, which is down sort of South Brizzy to pick up a converter, and then after that I've got to take this to the fabricator who's going to be sort of putting it all together for us and actually building the diff for us. So from this sunny coast down to South Briz now. All right, stop 2, we're down in Salisbury on the south side of Brizzy at As New Transmission Products. Red Diamond converters, so here to pick up the converter for the VF finally. So go and grab that. That's stop number 2. All right guys, just got done for the 3rd stop for today, which was at Full Throttle Customs here in Beenleigh. So Damien there at Full Throttle Customs gave me like a full walkthrough of his workshop, and yeah, that dude, Jesus, that shop, they do some really wild stuff, like really cool things. So that's awesome. So Duncan at Top Cog actually put me onto him to sort the diff out. Once I told him it was sort of about the car that it's going to be, and then basically the project and what we're aiming for, he sort of recommended me go to Damien there at Full Throttle Customs. So that's freaking awesome. So I've dropped off all of the stuff, or most of the stuff I just picked up from Duncan at Top Cog. Just dropped most of that stuff off to Damien there at Full Throttle Customs, and he's going to get that diff together for us, hopefully within 2 weeks, which is awesome. You know, really short notice. So massive thank you to all of those blokes, really. And you'll see all that in the build series coming up on that car. I've put a lot of planning into the build,
and it's going to be probably one of the highest tier sort of builds we've had on the channel to date. So looking forward to that. So anyway, that was awesome, but you'll hear way more about that through the build series that's to come, which I'm excited about. So anyway, now back off to the workshop. I just got a call from the bloke for this barrow that I was meant to be picking up. Apparently it's out of the car and ready to go. So I'm hoping to get back to the workshop in time from Beenleigh back to the workshop to then get to Nanango to get this engine. Alrighty, so just up for a feed because I haven't eaten all day. Had a quick chat to Rex. Rex has been dealing with Darcy picking up his LS1 pretty much most of the afternoon. He hasn't had a chance to touch the VF yet. It's only just coming up to lunchtime now. I actually made really good time today. So Rex has had a pretty full on morning. Apparently the filters and stuff for the VY are there, and seeing as the VF is still intact, he's going to reconnect the battery of the VF and actually move it outside so that it's not inside while we dyno the VY, which was something that we're pretty mindful of. We were hoping that the filters would be here yesterday so that we could dyno the VY before the VF had to be on the hoist. So it's just another thing with dealing with having the dyno in the shed, which is another reason we really want to get it out into its own cell, so we don't have to worry about the cars on the hoists in the shed while we're dynoing cars, particularly like the VY. It's a burnout car, it's got no rear brakes, like they just take the rotors out. It's pretty common for burnout cars to do that, because when you're doing foot-ons and stuff, you only want the front brakes working. If the rear brakes are working, they tend to just get hot and start fires anyway and flame up, so most of them just remove it. So you've got no rear brakes, burnout car. The last thing you need is for something to go wrong on the dyno and damage a car on the hoist. So yeah, at least there's that. So I doubt we'll be ending up doing anything with the VF today. I've got a little offsider, Josh, with the 4H. I'm hoping he's coming out tomorrow so he can hopefully give us a hand to pull the LS out of the VF tomorrow. Again, it's like I said, it's not that big of a deal. It's still going to get done just as quick, really. We're still going to get it sorted early next week because we've got all the parts here now. So it's not a big deal whether it's not today. I'd rather it not be today and not have it next to the dyno today than have, you know, done it yesterday afternoon or something like that. So anyway, just realized I forgot to give Damien a gasket I was meant to give him as well for that diff, so that's a pain in the ass. But I have myself some food, keep on trucking back. I'll tell you what, the more I drive the Statesman, the more I really do like it. So I don't know if you'd be keen to see like cammed Statesman. Like I said, we've got cams just sitting out in the back room. I've got converters for 4L60s sitting in the container. I've got 2 of them, so we could definitely jug a converter in this and a cam, and I've got a full exhaust I think for one there as well. Could probably do a few things to this car that would cost nothing, just some time, which would be pretty cool. So let me know if you want to see that. But in saying that, with Rex this morning with Darcy, who we built that LS for, that's probably another thing that doesn't translate or doesn't really get spoken about, is how much time gets eaten up when dealing with customers. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, these people pay us a lot of money for us to do what we do for them. And, you know, I could sit down all day for someone like Darcy and literally walk him through exactly everything we did to his engine and exactly what it all means and what it all does. I could literally talk to him for hours, but like you can't really schedule that, and it just happens. And we don't have admin ladies, like we don't have anyone in an office to greet people. When people rock up, we are talking to them, and that's time off the tools. So there's a lot of that goes on too. I suppose the bigger we seem to get, the more people start to know about us. The more we seem to deal with people, like drop-ins and stuff, and talking to people, which it is what it is. It's all part of business, but it does make it hard to meet deadlines and get things done as well. Basically, all of these little things that I will like complain about, or not so much complain, but just bring to your attention and talk about, all of which could be fixed or made better with extra people. It's pretty much where we're at. We just need more people, which, like I said, we need to get the dyno out of the shed first. All right, and we're back. 2:30 in the afternoon. Not bad, really, for the day I've had. Anyway, the old boy was just leaving as I was coming in the ute, so don't know where he's gone, so I can't go get this engine at the moment. So Rex has actually got to make a new sniffer for this thing, because it's a burnout car. It's got like, I want to say pretty much collector extensions. It's basically just dumped under the car, which has meant we can't get our sniffer in it at all or anything. So in order to tune it, we're going to have to make another sniffer, which is going to eat a lot of time. But anyway, at least we'll have it then. All right, old boy's back. So I'm going to head off, go get this bearer,
that I need to get. Rex has got that sniffer sorted, so you can hear the Commodore up there's going, which is awesome because it's starting to get a bit late on the afternoon. But at least it's only a burnout car, so it shouldn't take heaps of time. Woo! Green top acquired. What a day. So Rex is just gonna have to do a Windows restore actually. Fix some VCM issues with the software and the new Windows update, so that's taken forever. But anyway, this thing's coming along, it's very loud. The new sniffer's working great though. Oh, quick mock-up, how good. Get the owner excited about it. So, G35 900. Home. Alright, I actually managed to get a video edited tonight, which is awesome. So, Mr. staying on the coast tonight with a young fella, so it's just us at home, which means I managed to actually get a video edited, which was mint. Alright, Saturday morning. Let's get it. So, Rex has got just a little bit more cleaning up to do on this thing before it gets picked up a bit later on this morning. We've got Mr. Parker coming out to give us a hand so he can help us get the engine out of this thing, which will finally happen today. What a freaking time it's been. But anyway, like I said, not a huge deal. So anyway, we've got to catch up on yesterday's emails and stuff because I was out and about all day. Do a little bit of that. Sort out the upload of the video that I edited last night. And while Rex is finishing this off, I'll probably work on getting that RB back together in the engine room out of the noise. This is getting pretty out of hand pretty quick. Oh, we've got a Josh here. All right, Rex managed to squeeze a bit more power out the VY. 380, it's about right, isn't it? Got this headeroonie back on, just gotta torque it up. All right, RB head's re-torqued. Plenty of torquing going on, eh? Heaps of torquing. Yeah. It's pretty much literally the hottest day this week that we could have chosen to pull this engine out. It's freaking warm in here. Warm. Anyway. It's finally getting done. We're only 2 weeks bloody late. All right, we're moving along here. Getting there. Goodbye, VY. How's this bloke, hey? Bring me out to help and he's just on the phone. Oh. On the phone doing nothing.
Oh, fuck.
Here I am, busting my ass.
Yeah. He's just been talking shit all day.
No, this engine's just about to come out. Did just notice that VCM sent us a math OTR when I specifically asked for a map list. This is like the second time they've done this to me. So I'll get onto them on Monday and get another one sent for this thing, which is a pain. Just had a call from old Millsy, Barra Bedford Millsy. He is planning on dropping a car off, the car that Barra's for. He's dropping that off for us tonight, but he's not going to be here till probably like 8 o'clock. So going to be a bit of a long day, I think. A long night. Boomskin. Time to pull this thing down. Righto, so we're pretty much pulled down, cleaned up, got the heads ready to go to Kingato on Monday. Get a deck tent there. Anyway, you'll see that all in the build for this thing. So that was pretty good progress on this today. So it's about 5 o'clock now at this point. Seeing as Millsy's probably not going to be here till like 8 and Mrs. is staying on the coast with the boy. So no real reason to rush off home. So Rex is just doing a bit more on the LS. I figured I may as well start pulling this thing down. Getting cracking on this because if I can get the block and the head ready to go to the machine shop as well, I can take all this stuff and the LS heads on Monday. 2 birds, 1 stone sort of deal. All looking pretty good so far. So we're getting just the good old swarm of flying ants. Good old flying ant swarm. We sort of seem to get this.
We should have known because it's been dry for ages and then rained recently. So.
Yeah. Sort of like twice a year we just get these crazy ant swarms, flying ants.
It's either these ants or those fucking moths.
Yeah, Goliath moths. Yeah, huge moths. But anyway, it's ants tonight, which is great. All right. What a night.
Oh, what day?
R3R rods too. Yeah. All right, so that's all sorted. Pretty much now just wait for Millsy to drop this car off and then we can head home and eat and go to bed.
I actually don't mind working Saturdays like this because I basically have an excuse just to ignore the phone and I don't touch the computer, and we actually get like a shitload done in that time when we don't have to be open for business for all intents and purposes. Here comes a Millsy in a truck with a car. Hot damn. We've had a Millsy here with a HQ. All right, so Millsy's still got a long way to go tonight. It's now 9 o'clock, so we sent him on his way because we can't get this thing fired up. So we're just trying to get it fired so we can get it into the shed so that we can go home and, you know, eat and go to sleep. All right, we got it sorted. It just wasn't drawing fuel up, but we managed to just suck some fuel up and get it running and get it in the shed. So it's now 9:45. We still haven't even had dinner. So I think that's a wrap on Saturday. I think that's a long enough day. Definitely calling it long enough. And gonna freaking go home. So this is pretty exciting. If you haven't already watched this video, go and watch it because this is a very exciting announcement to a new build. But I'll make sure I put this out before I put this video out. Anyway, yeah, go home, come back and do it all again tomorrow. A bit of Sunday work as well. All right, Sunday, a bit late today for obvious reasons. Bit of a later start, had a bit of a sleep in. Got the owner here to pick up the VE. So we'll get into today. All right, another car out and gone. Alrighty, so I've got a bloke coming to pick up the Mighty AU, sold it. I think it's another thing out of our way, out of the paddock. I did have some sort of plans for it, but realistically, it's like, when am I ever going to get time to do things like that? Anyway, bit of fuel in it, battery, started right up. Good old bloody AU, mate. Bloody AU. What a time. So anyway, we just got to get all the scrap out of the tray now and get it ready for old mate to come and get. Anyway, I said he could have it for $300. I reckon that's a pretty good deal for him. And yeah, it's another car out of my freaking way. This poor old girl really needs some attention as well. The injector pump really needs doing, so thinking about getting that spiced up in the process and going front mount and exhaust and trying to squeeze some pepper out of it. So I really did want to get stuck into the Beamer today. That was sort of the plan, but as you can see, this place is getting very crowded and messy, so sort of need to prioritize cleaning up and getting this place back into, I suppose, a efficient order today so that we can have another big week next week of getting stuff done. So this thing's so annoying in that we just keep not getting there. Just not getting there. Greg, who picked up the SS wagon as well, the VE, dropped us a heap of this cool stuff. How good's that? What a legend. He's actually the dude, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but he's actually the dude that owns the GE Patrol that we LS converted. So he dropped the VE out when he came to pick up the Patrol to get the exhaust done, which is pretty cool. But he wanted me to let you guys all know that that VE, that chlorophyll Calais V wagon, he is thinking about selling it. He wants about 25 grand for it. He just wanted me to let the world know. I reckon it's a freaking awesome buy for 25k. That thing's mint. All cleaned up, ready to go to the machine shop. All right, so next thing's pretty much going to be get this RB together because I really need this bench space to move all that stuff into here. All right, lifters, cams, cam caps on the RB. It's about as far as I need to get it at the moment, so that's it for now. And made some room in here to put all the barra valve train stuff. And this corner is going to stay dedicated to this thing until it's back in the VF. At which point the 2J that I pulled out of that Cressida can come in here and we can start the Townsend process on that. Never bloody ends, does it? All right, barra stuff in the engine room. Still got to clean a lot of it up, but in the engine room is a good place for it for now, for that thing. So a good little clean up, got rid of this table. Don't need it anymore, sits out of the way, which makes the place look a lot less cluttered. Head's all cleaned up, it's pretty much, so yeah, ready to go machine shop. Ready to go machine shop. The 2 LS heads for this thing, ready to go to the machine shop. So that'll be tomorrow. Load them up. Rex has been tidying up this table. Just doing a full tidy up, it desperately needed it. This whole corner, from what you if you remember watching the videos of setting up the hoist and stuff and setting up the shed, we still have to get this corner set up with like a post for the vise and a post for the grinder and get a better suited bench than this thing because it does make things a little crowded, but we just have not had any time. So Rex also got this FG sump all cleaned up, ready for the Beamer, but it's already like 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon and the missus and the young fella will be home any minute. So I sort of want to go home and spend some time with them for the Sunday off. So we really probably just won't get to it, which is just frustrating. Another day we just didn't quite get there, but I sort of didn't expect for all this cleanup to take as long, but at least it's done and this is just ready to go to machine shop tomorrow morning. So still really good progress. It's just between this thing and the RB25, like the 33 that RB25 is for, they're just both so frustrating, those projects, for no particular reason that I can put my finger on. It's just that we keep just not making it to them. Like, it just keeps to just not work out. Like every time we're like, yeah, well, we'll put this time aside to get stuck in and get these things done. You know, with that RB, you'll see in the footage of that, it just got to the point where every time I got stuck in to do something else would pop up with it, like there was a problem. So then it would have to get fixed, and that would take time, and it just kept getting longer and longer. And this thing, same sort of deal. We'd keep setting aside time to get it in here and get it sorted. And then the car that was in here something had happened and it'd run over. It'd end up a few days late. We'd end up busting us to get it done before the next thing comes in. And then that time that was allowed for that would get squeezed out, sort of thing. And that's why we just brought it in here. We were like sick of it. We're like, nah, we're just putting this inside the shed and it's gonna stay on the hoist. And if it annoys us because it's there, good. Because we just need to do it. And it's pretty much been in here this week. And yeah, I was really hoping to sort of smack it out today, but it just didn't freaking happen. But anyway, it's just frustrating, but hopefully throughout the week we can get that smashed out now that all this cleanup's been done today. Hopefully it just means we can just set aside a day during the week to get some smacked out on it. Righto guys, so it's now about 2:30 Sunday afternoon, and the missus and the young fella just got home, so I'm gonna get home and spend the afternoon with them. So only a pretty short Sunday, but at least we've got a fair bit knocked out for a short Sunday and get to go home and actually spend some family time, which is also important. So I hope you've enjoyed this sort of week in the life. I've actually really enjoyed making this one. It's been good fun. So I'm actually sort of thinking about continuing to do these sort of every week or most weeks, I suppose. Because, you know, the way that I release content now, doing just the builds, obviously not everything makes it to the channel. Not everything deserves a whole video. So doing these weeks in the life, you sort of get a bit more context. You get to see a little bit more stuff, and it probably translates a lot more of what goes on behind the scenes and everything else. So given like a weekly vlog outlet for me to do things like this and blab a little bit, I feel like it'll probably help, because I won't be so inclined to try and put everything in the build content. So I think the build content would probably be better because it'll sort of get cut to only what's important to the build, and I think I'll probably stop putting a lot of the stuff that I'm putting in the build content in that content that doesn't need to be there, because I'll have a weekly vlog. So I don't know, I'll think about it. Obviously all of our members, you know, you all get the real inside scoop. There's still a lot that even doesn't translate on the week in the life. You know, like I said, things like phone calls and stuff like that, how much planning and stuff goes into this sort of work. So it's probably a bit different to the last week in the life that you all watched publicly though. It's been quite a while. As you can see, the business has progressed quite a long way. We're steamrolling forward pretty well. As you can see, we really are at a point where I really need more hands in the workshop. We are really heading that way. So, but as I stated, we've got to get the dyno out of there. So hopefully this video is not too long. Again, if I was doing these somewhat regularly, I wouldn't be inclined to talk about all the things that I blabbed on about in this video. So, you know, I feel like if I did them more regularly, they'd get shorter, and they'd probably get more entertaining. But I don't know, let me know what you think. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about the whole deal. Anyway, regardless guys, hope you're enjoying the content all around, and we'll see you on the next video. Enjoy. Peace out, see you, bye.